Welcome to Rich Sports Talk, your home for all the latest and greatest on the New York Jets. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our latest live streams. And also make sure to check us out wherever podcasts are available. SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spreaker, wherever you can listen to a podcast, you can find us if you can't join us in the live stream. Also, make sure to check out on our YouTube page, the community page, where we will have tons of polls and different ideas for future videos. And again, guys, thank you so much for helping with the channel. As always, if you use the super chat feature, not only do you make a great donation to this channel to help us grow, but you jump automatically to the front of the line. And look, there was a lot of things I was thinking about this week with the Jets. And yes, OTAs wound to a close, but there was a story that really kind of captured my interest, and it was a bit under the radar, and it involves the owner of the New York Jets. But I still think it is a very important development for the Jets because I think there's a great example of it right across town for the Jets. So let's dive into it. Earlier this week, it was announced that New York Jets owner Woody Johnson, the former ambassador to the UK, and the owner of the Jets, is in talks to invest over $270 million in Crystal Palace. That would be, and if you don't know, Crystal Palace is the FA Cup winners, and they are going to participate in the UEFA Europa League next season. Now, this was their first majority trophy by defeating Manchester City in May's FA Cup at Wembley. So looks like they are trying to have a minority stake within the team. So they're offering about 43%. Now, famously, Woody Johnson, this isn't the first time that he's looked to buy a team. Between 2017 and 2021, he made a bid for Chelsea, but was unable to get Chelsea. And also, don't forget, too, despite him being a Chelsea supporter, that Woody Johnson was also the ambassador to the UK. So he has made a lot of connections out in the UK. It's clear that he wants the Jets to be involved in the London game in the UK as much as possible. And it is very clear that he's looking to expand within the London market. So how does this all impact the Jets? I mean, Nolan, you're talking about football, but I think you're talking about the wrong type of football. You're talking about the European football. We want to talk about the North American football. And I completely understand. But here's where I'm coming from. And I think there's a great example of this across town. Why I think this would be a good thing for the New York Jets is Woody Johnson, we have seen, has had a history of meddling with coaches. Now, to be fair to the last regime, he didn't meddle until the very end when he thought he needed a Hail Mary to make the Aaron Rodgers thing work, and it was a disaster. It looks like Woody Johnson is allowing this regime to start off at the very least and not meddle. But here's the thing. Especially with billionaires that have multiple assets, a lot of the times they get very interested in the most recent or the newest asset. So if this bid goes through and Woody Johnson, again, he wouldn't be the majority owner, but would have a major stake in that team, I think that would take up a lot of his time. Now, again, he still would care about the Jets. He still would be involved with the Jets. But at least in the very beginning, once this would go through, I think Woody Johnson would have a ton of interest and keep a very keen eye on his new purchase. Because again, when you invest that much money into a new asset, you want to make sure that it is going right out of the gate. You want to ensure that you have made a sound investment, and you want to make sure that everything you do, especially in the opening, is to help further that investment further. How does this tie into the Jets? Well, if Woody's over there focusing on his brand new team, his new team that he has invested over hundreds of millions of dollars in Crystal Palace, it would allow the Jets back here at home to just focus on football and not focus on headlines and not focus on making these splashy moves just to make back pages. And again, to Woody's credit, I do think Woody Johnson wants the Jets to win. He's an owner that does want this team to be successful. He's not an owner that's just sitting back and watching the billion-dollar price tag of his asset go up. He wants the Jets to be successful. But for us as Jet fans, if you were to ask many Jet fans, what is your biggest fear about this new regime? And I've heard a lot of you guys on this channel. It's that Woody's going to meddle. Woody's going to meddle. But if Woody has this Crystal Palace distraction, I think it would be very difficult for him to be influenced on the football side. And people saying, well, what do you mean like he would be distracted and not be as involved? And I'm glad you asked that, because there is a great example. It just happens to be a couple miles away from MetLife. The New York Knicks are owned by James Dolan. The New York Knicks, for over 25 years, have been an embarrassing franchise. They've been a franchise that's been the butt of jokes, much like the New York Jets have been for the past 15 years. But something's funny has happened in recent years. The last couple of years, the Knicks have hired good people. They've hired basketball people. And the basketball people have been left to run the operation. And look what happened. The New York Knicks, with their new front office and with their new structure, were able to make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals this year for the first time in 25 years. And we all talk about why they got there, how they got there, but we're forgetting a very important thing. What wasn't there? What hasn't been around the Knicks in recent years? It's been James Dolan. Why has James Dolan been so hands-off with the Knicks in recent years? Do I think it's just because all of a sudden he got hit with the bolt of lightning and realized that he needs to let basketball people run the basketball operations? I don't necessarily think that. What was the biggest investment for his company the last couple of years? Oh, that's right. It's the Sphere in Las Vegas. The last couple of years, James Dolan's biggest focus has been getting the Sphere up and running, making sure that that is not only a premium destination in Vegas, but a premium concert destination all over the world. And they have now changed the skyline in Las Vegas. They've created a new icon in Las Vegas. And more importantly, they are changing the entertainment in Las Vegas forever. Why do I think that's important? Because since he was distracted with his newest toy, much like Woody Johnson might be distracted with Crystal Palace, the Knicks were left alone. And lo and behold, they had a lot of success. But now that the Sphere is done, and now the Knicks are successful again, I have questions. Because the Knicks, who hadn't been to an Eastern Conference final in 25 years, made the decision to fire their head coach that got them there. And basically decided to go after a head coach in Jason Kidd that not only wasn't interested, but told them to kick rocks. So now the New York Knicks are in a position where they're looking around for a head coach. And if you asked me, that kind of feels like James Dolan is really back involved. Because again, if the basketball people are clearly in charge of the operation, do I feel a little bit better about the Knicks? Sure. But it feels like the owner has come back and is starting to meddle again, which I think is every New York Knicks fan's biggest fear. Now, with this new regime with the Jets, I don't think Woody would initially interfere. But if he's also trying to make sure that Crystal Palace is a success, that his investment over there is a success. Because the other thing, too, that you have to keep in mind with European soccer is when you win a championship, you go up in a league, which means you will be facing stiffer competition, and you do not want to get relegated. So if that team is on the bubble of relegation potentially, I think Woody Johnson's going to pay a little bit more attention to them being his newest investment than the New York Jets. And plus, it's clear he is trying to establish himself in London, being the ambassador of the UK, making sure that the Jets go to multiple London games in multiple years. So I do think that it is very important to really look at this and understand that this is a healthy distraction. Because sometimes with owners, the best thing is for them to get out of the way and let smart people, and again, they have to pick the smart people, which is the difficult decision. But if they pick the right people and let the right people do what they're good at, good things tend to happen. Look at the Knicks. They let good people handle the operations, and it has turned into a success. For the New York Jets, We don't know if Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn are the guys, but we have to let them try to be the guys. We have to let them see. We have to see if they're going to fall on their own sword or if they are going to succeed here. Last year, Woody got a lot of heat from how he handled the coaching staff, for how he handled everything. And look, I agree he did not handle things well last year. But let's also be frank. He gave Joe Douglas 90 games. He gave Robert Saleh well over 60 games. And you look at the little meddling that he did, yes. Was it annoying that he traded a high draft pick for Devontae Adams? Yes. But it's clear he was desperate and wanted that team to somehow pull off a miracle and succeed and hit that Hail Mary pass. But if he's going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in Crystal Palace, I get the sense that, yes, he'll be around the Jets. Yes, he'll be interested in the Jets. But will the Jets be his number one priority? Probably not. And that might help Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn finally turn this ship around and allow this franchise that has just been in the dark ages for 15 years to finally succeed. And I think a great example is look at the Knicks. James Dolan invested heavily in the Sphere in Las Vegas. That became his pet project. That became his sole focus for years. And during that time period, look what happened to the New York Knicks. They went from laughingstock to being one of the top 4 teams to finish in the NBA in 2025. So again, sometimes distractions, we feel that they're a bad thing. But in this case, especially in professional sports, and especially with these billion-dollar owners, sometimes a distraction is actually a good thing. Thank you so much for joining us here on Rich Sports Talk. We have a special video coming Monday where we will be going over all the position rankings for the New York Jets, and we have a very special New York Jets content creator joining us at 7 p.m. Monday night. So we're going to have a fun Monday night for you again. We're going to fill the void of missing Monday Night Football. So make sure to like and subscribe so you don't join us. And if you're listening on the podcast, check us out on YouTube for the live stream. And you can always get us on the podcast the day after if you're missing the live show. Again, like and subscribe to help with the algorithm so we can get out to more New York Jets fans as possible. And make sure to check out our community page on the YouTube channel so that you don't miss any future videos. And also, it allows you to vote on potential videos that you, yes, you can see. As always, make sure to comment below. I'll get back to as many comments as I can. If you use the super chat feature, you will jump to the front of the line, but you also will be making a well-appreciated donation to the channel as we continue to grow. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here today. We'll be back on Monday night, and we are breaking down Jets positions by positions. What positions are they better in 2025 as compared to 2024? Is it a push? Is it the same? Is it better? Or are they weaker in certain positions as we look forward? And again, I have a very special content creator that will be joining us for that, and I'm looking forward to having him on the show. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on Rich Sports Talks. As always, I always appreciate the support. We will see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss all the latest and greatest on the New York Jets. We will see you next time.